A massive manufacturing plant could bring up to 3,500 jobs to eastern Oklahoma if the legislature and Governor Kevin Stitt can agree on how to pay for $245 million in improvements to the MidAmerican Industrial Park located in Pryor, Oklahoma. Capitol Correspondent Jason Doyle joined us from our OETA studios in the Capitol with more on the negotiations. Jason.
Rich, they're calling it Project Josie, and it's reportedly Panasonic showing interest once again in Oklahoma. State officials are not confirming that, but there are hopes that this time the state will land a mega factory.
We have a signed contract on that.
Those 6 words began the buzz around the Capitol. Oklahoma was getting another shot at a major manufacturer placing a mega factory here, reportedly to build lithium car batteries. It could mean that nearly $700 million in LEAD Act incentive funds could be accessed if the company hits certain triggers.
The legislature knows that. We have a signed agreement with Project Josie that encumbers that 698. So now we're just working on the development agreements.
Stitt is confident Oklahoma will land this deal.
It's the largest economic development in state history, but it's gone through their board. They've officially signed off on that LEAD fund to encumber that, to say we're coming to the state of Oklahoma. So that's exciting.
House Speaker Charles McCall backs the governor's contention Oklahoma will be a future site for this manufacturer.
I've seen an agreement draft, and by all accounts it looks like we have a very serious and imminent that they are going to be announcing Oklahoma, which would be great.
While things sound promising, Governor Stitt noted that this manufacturer wants more infrastructure development around the MidAmerican Industrial Park.
There's a $245 million economic development site work, roads, that the legislature will be part of appropriating or finding the way to get that.
Stitt says that money won't go to the company itself, but it will have to come from lawmakers.
There's a few little T's to cross and I's to dot to get the correct egress ingress into those facilities. A few maybe daycare centers, a few more fire stations. There's some community investments that the legislature would probably make to put that over the finish line.
Some of those proposed investments caught the eye of House Minority Leader Representative Cindy Munson.
Governor Stitt talked a little bit about site upgrades around infrastructure. He, I think, mentioned something about fire stations and daycare centers. And these are all things that House Democrats have been talking about in terms of workforce development, that without these critical pieces of infrastructure, we can't grow our workforce.
While generally House Democrats are on board with the LEAD Act and attracting businesses to the state, Munson notes what exactly is being asked of the legislature hasn't been brought into focus quite yet.
There hasn't been a clear plan on what the legislature would even be looking at, or what a bill or what we would be voting on. All we know is an amount of money that would be needed to place investment in this part of the state. Of course, we're always going to be supportive of investment in Oklahoma.
Munson feels that infrastructure and workforce development investment should not be isolated to one part of the state.
What we're asking for is that we see that investment across the state of Oklahoma, and we should be doing that whether or not a big company is asking us to do that. And for future workforce growth, we really need to be talking about, how are we investing in the state now? How are we taking care of Oklahomans and their families to attract businesses to even think about coming to Oklahoma?
The LEAD Act incentives were created to attract Panasonic and were later adjusted to attract Volkswagen. Panasonic chose DeSoto, Kansas, while Volkswagen will be building a mega factory in Canada. McCall says Project Josie will only get those incentives in the LEAD Act by investing at least $3.6 billion in Oklahoma and creating 3,500 jobs or more within 4 to 5 years.
You get the incentive if you produce the jobs, and the investment tax credit, which is you get the credit if you make the investment in the state of Oklahoma. It does have a sweetener for a 2% sweetener for this company that could produce north of 3,500 jobs for the state of Oklahoma.
McCall and Stitt believe both the LEAD Act incentives and developing infrastructure in that area of the state are worth the investment.
There are a significant amount of incentive dollars being deployed to bring these in, but when you look at the sheer number of jobs that they're producing and the average salary paid, the state of Oklahoma is going to get the benefit of those jobs, that company paying taxes here, employing people, and the state. And the people will get their investment back over time.
It's about a $5 billion investment. And when they're doing those kind of things, there's development agreements, there's site work, there's infrastructure, there's things commitments that they have to have from the state. And so, yes, there's going to be a commitment. The legislature will have to figure out a way to spend this $245 for either through ODOT or through the MidAmerica site to get that site ready.
McCall feels if the state does indeed land Project Josie, it will lead to bigger things.
If we accomplish those things, there's an expectation that if we land a mega manufacturer producing 3,500 jobs or more, that there's a lot of many other companies that will follow coming to Oklahoma.
The governor agrees.
It's a positive thing for Oklahoma. These type of investments don't come around all the time. We need to take advantage of this for the state of Oklahoma. The diversification play here is unbelievable.
Earlier this year, the legislature put a time limit on the funds which back the incentives in the LEAD Act. That likely won't matter if the company behind Project Josie makes it public they're coming to Oklahoma.